All right.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about range of domain graphically. All right, so I'm looking at this graph. Here's the idea. I want to think of this in one dimension only. So if I look at my domain, remember my domains are the x's. So if I think about this as a domain just in the x, I put my number line up. Here's -1, -2, 1, 2, 1, 2, -1, -2. Okay. Here's -3. Clearly, -3 is not being used. -2, not being used, but -1.99999 is, right? So essentially, if we think about this, here's -2. It's going like this, in the x direction. And it's going all the way over to 1. There's 1. Notice it goes to 1. 1's not being used here. 1's not being used here. However, in between, it's being used all the way until 1. So it looks like this, right? This should remind you of our inequalities. So essentially, my domain is going to be from -2 to 1, union 1, or excuse me, hold on, it's almost 6, what am I doing? This is 0, that's not a 1. My bad, that's a 0, sorry, I was thinking ahead. All right.
So is that -2?
So that should be
No, on the number line, is that -2?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's -2.
No, on your number line.
Number 9.
Yeah, -2. Good to go. My bad. It's been a long day. I'm still pretty though. All right. So here's my -2. My -2 is being used. My -1's being used. My 0, my bad. My 0's not being used. Freaking, my 1 is being used and everything in between. Yeah, maybe I should have done a retake, but we're not going to. All right. So this is going from 0 all the way to 1. All right?
What about infinity?
It's not going to infinity.
Just making sure.
Right?
But
It's not even going to 1.5.
if 0 is not being used, you still put it in the...
Yeah, because the parentheses means that it's almost to 0, not equal to 0. Notice the bracket means that it's equal to 1.
I thought the bracket meant that it was.
Oh, geez, no. The bracket means it's equal to.
You don't want to hear what I'm saying?
No, because I don't want to go on camera and jacking anybody up. The bracket means that it's equal to. It's from 0, right here, it stops at 1, and to this side of it, right? Less than. Look, from 0 to 1.
I know, but I really want to say what I have to say, though. It's what's going to piss me off.
Okay, stand up here.
Okay.
Pause it.
No, let's just go.
Okay.
Okay? We ain't pausing nothing. All right, what, girl? The
No,
lady behind the camera. All right, what?
for real, though. I thought that if it was a solid, that it meant that it was touching.
It is touching.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, that means it's equal to.
Well, then all I had to say was touching. I was right. That's all that
You're
matters.
so pretty.
It matters that I'm right. Always and forever.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, now, if I look at my range, okay, notice my 2 right here, and I've got a -1 being used. Does everybody see that? So essentially, I'm going to start from my low value just because I feel like it. If I think about it in the up and down, here's -1. Is -1 being used?
Yeah.
Yes. Like that. And it goes all the way up until 0. 0's not being used. 1, not being used. All the way up to 2, not being used, but that's in between. All right? And that's kind of a... just like that. So essentially what's happening is from our -1 to 0. -1's touching, 0's not. Then we're going to make the jump. We're jumping to the other side of 1, and we're stopping just before we get to 2. All right? Does that make sense?
No.
What's wrong?
Like I see -1. -1, 1, right?
Yeah.
-1 to 0. We're only going in the y direction. And then there's nothing going on here. So that's the jump.
Oh, so you're going to diagonal?
That's for range.
No, I only want you looking at it in the y direction.
Oh, so I'm just looking on the y-axis?
This point right here, I don't care about the x. I know the -1's being used, right?
Right,
Right here, I don't care about the x, but I know the -1/2 is being used, right?
right,
Okay, all the way up until almost 0.
right.
At this point, I don't care about what the x is. I know that my 1.5 is being used, right? For my y, my 1.5 is being used. Does that make sense? Okay, so I don't care that's going diagonally. I'm looking at it in one dimension.
So do you not want to put down 1.5 and then -1/2?
Yeah. What's between 1 and 2?
1/2.
There you go.
Okay.
1.5, not just a half.
No, 1 and 2 is 1/2.
Okay. Between 1 and 2 is half. Okay. 50 cents is how much of a dollar?
Half of it?
Okay. Is 50 cents between $1 and $2?
No.
Okay. Is $1.50 in between $1 and $2?
Yeah, but you would say right between 1 and 2, like 1 and like 1.
So what's between 1 and 2?
Well, I know.
1.5.
Okay.
1.5.
Well, yeah, now, but like.
You're always right. Don't worry about it. All right. So now, for this domain, if I think about it, look. This point right here, -3, 3, right? This point right here, -2, 1, right here. This point right here, -1, I don't know, 1/3, whatever. This point right here, 2, -1. So on and so forth, right? So my idea is I'm just looking in what x's are being used. So if I start in my domain, the first x that's being used is a -3. Is everybody with me on that? Okay, -2 is being used, -2.5 is being used, -2.89743 is being used, right? It's right in here, right in here, right in here. All these points are being used. -1's being used. It gets all the way up to 0, but 0's not being used. Are you with me? All right, so this becomes 0. Now we're going to jump. 1's not being used. 1/2 is not being used. 1.5 is not being used. They're not being used at all. However, we jump. 2 is being used. 3 is being used. And it's going to keep going all the way out until infinity. All right? Now for this range, if I look at my range, this is going all the way down into negative infinity. Is everybody with me on that? So I know my range is going to go from negative infinity, and it's going all the way up to -1. Then we're going to union that up. My 0 is not being used. However, 0.1 is being used. 0.1. 1/3 is being used. 1's being used. I'm now looking at only my y's. 3's being used. 2's being used right here. 1.5 is being used right here. So on and so forth. So it goes all the way up to 3. And then I'm done. Ooh, let's put a comma in. Does that make sense?
So on the union 2 for the first one,
Uh-huh.
would that be a bracket or parentheses? Because it's, it's on this other side of it.
Because it touches.
Where it's, yeah, because it's cut in where it's 2.
Oh, hold on, time out. Let me,
That'd be a bracket, right?
yeah, this is a bracket, sorry.
Yeah,
Let me make that clear. Good to go? All right. How am I doing on time? Does that burn up for 15 minutes?
10.
10? Okay, good.
Pause it or what?
No, keep going.
What is it when like the union, when it's split like and?
Oh, when it's over?
When do you use that?
What's that?
Like
You're
union?
talking about intersect.
Yeah,
Okay, don't worry about that for now.
okay.
I've never done math this long in my life.
Look at you, we're making accomplishments together.
And you.
I'm just gonna find me someone that's really good at math from now on.
All right. Now, if I look at my domain, my x's, well, when x is 1 being used? Look at it.
No.
What the feezy? What point is this?
Well, I
At this
just saw
point,
the
my 1's
4.
being used. Look. Dot, 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 dot. My 1 is being used at this point and this point.
Okay.
My 2 is being used at this point and at that point. Does everybody see that? I'm not labeling these points
Why not?
because I want you to be able to look at that and be able to just say, oh yeah, you know, because I'm not going to label 1.597. You have to be able to understand that it's being used in between 1 and 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, look at -1. Is -1 being used?
Yes.
How many times?
2.
All right, so -1's being used there and -1's being used there. And this is going to keep going on and on until what? That's right, so my domain is going to be from -infinity to positive infinity, right? Now let's look at my range. If I look at my range, if this is 4 and this is -4, right? Well, here's -5 right there. Is -5 being used? Dot, 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 dot,
Oh, yes.
dot, dot, dot. So right here it's being used. Right here it's being used, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is -6 being used?
Yes.
Right. It's being used right over here and right over here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This point right here is some x, I don't know what it is, it's some -x, whatever, -6. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, my range, notice, is going to be from -infinity to -4, union 4 to infinity. Notice we're getting the jump. Is this a function?
No.
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 Because it does not pass the what?
The vertical line.
All right, well, we got something right.
Because Kobe's scoring too many points.
That's right.
And he can't.
All right, I guess we could cut the camera off. We're cutting it on this one.